on Newsroom Live, Inside the Intelligence Room. That's what we're calling this segment, where we're diving deep into this whole issue, who these people are. Is the former director of gang intelligence for the New York City Department of Correction, Theresa Ramos. And she's very familiar with the Trinatarios gang and the crimes that they have alleged and confessed to and been found guilty of in the past. Theresa, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Lisa. Always a pleasure.
So, Theresa, when we hear Trinitarios, a lot of us automatically thought of Junior Guzman 8 years ago, the teenager who was brutally, brutally murdered with that machete or that sword in the Bronx, the one who was the police cadet. Is this the same Trinitarios gang that the U.S. attorney is talking about?
Yes, so while it's not the same set of Trinitarios, it's the same gang.
And then in terms of the Trinitarios, the way that these gang members allegedly operated here, what struck me about it was, of course, we've heard of racketeering conspiracies before, murders, drug dealing, guns, weapons, all of those things. But the scope of it going from Westchester County into the Bronx, out to New Jersey, Bergen County, Passaic County, Essex County, Newark, Patterson, Patterson police were involved in bringing this, helping to bring this indictment. What do you think of that? Because it just seemed very unusual that it would be at such a big scope, and as U.S. Attorney Clayton said, this was sometimes multiple cities on the same day.
So I can see for the general public why they would think that this is unusual. But truly, this gang, it knows no bounds. It certainly doesn't stop by county, by state. They've been known to operate in the tri-state area, and they've even taken their crimes out of state. And as we've seen here, out of county as well.
Now, when you look at some of the information, the U.S. Attorney also said that at the press conference, he said that they would commit these crimes, and then after they committed these crimes, they would brag about them on social media. That sounds familiar. We've seen that with other cases, but what is it about this particular one? They're mostly doing everything in Spanish. What about that? And what can you tell us about them in terms of the culture?
So what we have seen is that normally to prove that they've done the acts or the missions, which basically are crimes that they've committed, they have to document it. They have to show proof. The fact that now they're so brazen as to put it on social media, they're bragging. They want to let people know that this is their work.
And then there was another name that was mentioned in the indictment, that they were Trinitarios, but they were the bad boy seven, something like that. What can you tell us about that?
Right. So really, Bad Boy is one of the original sets of Trinitarios. There's been several indictments with state and federal. The seven is just, that's more Trinitario lingo, and I'm sure that's just what this younger generation is going by.
And so are these like this? Are these like is there a generational component to the Trinitarios gang, like the ones that were involved, at the time of Junior Guzman's murder? Those are the dads, and then these might be some of the sons, or is this just something
Oh, it,
completely, that just
it
they
may
spring up
be.
on their own?
It's definitely generational, and we're just seeing the younger generation of the gang. That's what we're seeing right now.
And it seemed also too that they're following some of the gang members that we've seen in the past that would make music videos as well. How common is that among them?
It's common. I mean, we've seen this between gangs and street crews, but it's prevalent amongst those that are using music as a gateway of, hiding the criminality that they're conducting.
And getting clout too?
Absolutely.
And then Theresa, tell us about when with Rikers Island, that was under your purview when you were director of intelligence for the New York City Department of Correction. Was there a big Trinitarios component there?
Absolutely. They're one of the major gangs in New York City,
And then
and they definitely had a presence on the island.
from were there certain ethnic groups that they were coming from, or certain countries, or were they most of them born here?
Predominantly of Dominican descent, but it's not unusual to see different ethnicities, but they are predominantly a Dominican gang.
And are they would you consider them one of the gangs that is growing?
Absolutely. I believe that they've been on trend for decades, as we can see by the indictments that have occurred in New York State, New York City. And this is no different.
And then the do they have like, would they have other sets that would be, in other areas, like, that, have you heard of things in, like, they mentioned Patterson, they mentioned Newark, Essex County. Do they have subsets or groups in different cities, like we've come to know with the Bloods and the Crips and some of the other gangs?
Yes, there are several subsets, there's several sets. There are more that are more predominant in certain areas of New York City, New Jersey. But yeah, there's several of them.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.